So I was watching a movie last night, and to be honest, I probably shouldn't have been. I should have been doing other stuff. But sometimes there are ebbs and flows with in that because I still got all my other things done. I got my list done. I got my daily tasks done, and so I was taking a little bit of downtime on that. And part of the reason why I say I shouldn't probably do that is because, well, I'm an all or nothing type of person. I have this hyper addictive personality. And so when I start things, like I get obsessed with it. And, like the movie last night was a perfect example of that. But, I was like, oh, I'll watch like half an hour. And then I go to bed. And then I ended up staying up till like midnight because I was finishing this movie. Anyway, there was this one epically beautiful line in it. And I think it sums up what I'm trying to do here. And it really kind of hit me with that. And it was like, life is not about what you can achieve, it's about who you can become. And I truly feel that this is what I've been talking about. This is what I'm working towards. And it's really interesting. I find how the universe works in these ways. Like, how I've been trying to work out how to share this, how to talk about this, how to express myself with this kind of stuff. And yet, bit by bit, as I just do the process, it just gets revealed to me. So this line in the movie, then I found this podcast with David Goggins and Huberman, and I was like, they were talking about this muscle. I can not for the life of me remember the name of it, but it's in your brain, and it's basically the discipline muscle, and it's bigger in people who do difficult things, who do things that they don't want to do, but know that they like are good for them. It is build up, so it's bigger in people who've lost weight. It's bigger in people who are athletes. It's bigger in people who are entrepreneurs. It's this developed by doing difficult things. And I was like, without even knowing it, I was like, that's exactly what I was trying to get at with 126, with chasing greatness, with everything that I'm doing here. That's what I was talking about. I always believed discipline was a muscle, and it turns out it is actually a fucking muscle. Like, who knew? Um, so yeah, it's this thing of 126 is about, well, I like to think of it as sculpting the man that you know you should be. And that's the process that I want to talk about, that and I want to share, because I think we're so caught up in this concept of our lives now, and being comfortable and what is easy and what is the least resistance and all this kind of stuff. And I watch people and they're living these non-existent lives. Like, they're dying at 20 or 22. They just happen to still be, walking around, and they repeat the same year for the next 50 years until they actually die. They don't do anything with themselves. They don't push themselves. They don't see what they're capable of. They don't challenge their own status quo. There's nothing in their life that pushes them, and they're just trudging through life, waiting for the end. And or like going the other way of like, well, life's here to be enjoyed. So enjoying it on frivolous things that don't actually bring happiness and satisfaction, drugs, alcohol, TikTok, social media, dopamine chasing, all these kinds of things. And don't get me wrong, I have partaken in all of those things. As I said the other day, like, I love alcohol. I love food. My wife is a pastry chef. I have a bar in my house. I have more alcohol and spirits than probably most people I know. I have more than some bars do. Like, there's probably 200 bottles of spirits in my bar at the moment. I love these things, but I also refuse to let them define my life and to waste my life on that. And I do think there is something in that when you have children. when I had kids, my whole outlook shifted on this. Like I look back to my 20s, and me and my mate, and who was my personal trainer, who worked for me, we used to spend every Sunday, and I shit you not, we used to call it cheat day because we'd do 6 days a week, and we'd spend from sun up till sundown sitting on the couch eating shit. And I mean literally like bags of lollies, chips, chocolate, ice cream. We'd have burgers, we'd have pasta. We'd spend like 150 bucks every Sunday just for that day on junk food. And we'd sit and we'd play video games and we'd eat crap all day. So I've lived that kind of life. But when you have kids, it shifts, I think, who you need to be and what you prioritize. And as I said, this has not been a linear journey. I had this revelation, I realized it, and I worked it all out, and then shit just fell away because life, and I lost my priorities. And I had to step back into that. I have to constantly, look at that and evaluate that. And when I look at my daughter and I look at my son and I go, who am I being? What kind of example am I setting for my children here? Like, what am I showing up as? And who is that going to influence them into being? And that influence is undeniable. Like, my daughter pulled 24 kilos for a deadlift the other day. She's 3. And not because I asked her to, not because we pushed her to do it, but she sees daddy work out every single day and she wants to be like daddy. And daddy lifts kettlebells and he picks them up. And so she was like, can I try? And I was like, absolutely. And we do weighted carries, and she carries the 6 kilo, the 12 kilo, and she's trying to work on the 15 kilo. She wants to be the same as my son. My son loves to pick up the kettlebell and carry it around. He loves to do that kind of stuff because they are at that age mimicking who you are. So who are you? Who are you showing up as? And this is the part of like, it's not the destination with 126. This will be, this is why there's 126 as the initial phase and there's chasing greatness. This is just life. But we're constantly sculpting away at who we are to be the best man that we can be. Like, and that's such a massive part of it that I want to go out every day and to test my limits, to see what I am capable of. And, this goes back to that zero choice mentality kind of thing. I have decided that these things are getting done, therefore they're getting done. That is the end of the story. There is no questions. I don't need to wake up and in the morning go, I wonder what I'll do today. No, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to work out. I'm going to lift weights. I'm going to go for a weighted walk. I'm going to ground myself. I'm going to get early morning sun. I'm going to do my power list. I'm going to do 5 things that progress me forward. I'm going to read 10 pages. I'm going to drink 4 liters of water. I'm going to give gratitude. I'm going to give appreciation. I'm going to record my daily wins. Like, I have a whole list of these things and I check them off each day, and I have a tracker to make sure that every day I am progressing forward. And it is truly 100% perfection. That if I miss one of those things, we go back to the start and we have to start again. And this zero choice mentality is that freedom that allows me to do that. But as I said, it's about building that discipline muscle. I had no idea it was actually a muscle. And when I listened to that podcast, I was like, holy shit, that thing that I'd thought for, ever, my entire life, is actually a thing. And you can build it. But it, like any muscle, if you stop doing things that are difficult, that you don't want to do, it shrinks again. You must constantly be working on this. And so there are days where, like, that can vary from day to day. Today, I went and I did sauna and ice bath at a local place here. I made sure that each time I sat longer than I wanted to, that when I was like, my brain is screaming me, hey, you need to get out, like, this is uncomfortable, let's move on. And I would push just a little bit further, because I wanted to make sure that the second my brain, my bitch voice, whatever you want to call it, that the call of average, there are many terms that have been used, and I like a lot of them actually, come out, I'm not giving in. So, I did 3 rounds of 20 minutes in the sauna and 3 rounds of 3 minutes in the ice bath, one after the other kind of thing. And each time it was like when my body was screaming, hey, nah, you need to get out, it was like, no, I'm just going to sit here, and I'd count my breaths. And I had to override it. And especially that last one, that was really difficult. That was incredibly difficult, and I didn't want to do that. But I kept going, and that's part of it. That notion that we just have to keep pushing with that. And I think there's truly something in that not only do you develop this muscle that we're talking about, and then next time it gets easier to override that voice, but the sense of accomplishment. Like, I can't remember what I was listening to, and they were talking about it, and he's like, I meet all these successful people, and they're like, there is something missing from my life. And I've met them too. I've met people who are wealthy. I've met people who are successful in their field, but they're kind of hollow. And I think part of it is this. I think part of it's the struggle, embracing the suck. It's doing the hard things. And look, I don't claim to be incredibly successful by any stretch of the imagination by that level. But when I wasn't doing this, I had that. I was like, there's something missing in me. There is something, like, I was just floating through life. Don't get me wrong, I loved my life. Like, my kids, my wife, like what I get to do, like I love this. But there was something in me missing. And to be honest, I only discovered it again, maybe a week ago. And like, as I said, I do my weighted walks, and one of them was really late at night. And I went walking, and I came across some stairs. Like, I went on a different route, and there was a flight of stairs, and I went up, and I was like, maybe I should do stairs. Maybe I should run some stairs tonight. Don't know where that came from, but that's what I did. I was like, no, I need to push it. This walk isn't, it isn't giving me what I normally want from it. So that's exactly what I did. I got in there and I ran up the stairs. For 25 minutes, I sprinted up and down those stairs as fast as my body would take me. One, that was humbling as shit, because my God, was I slow. Someone who used to be an athlete, fuck me, I'd forgotten that I had to earn every bit of my athleticism. So that had disappeared. And two, it was about 15 minutes in when my lungs was burning and my legs were shaking, and I was like, this is crippling me. That I found that peace, and suddenly I was like, there was this fire in my chest, and I had this giant smile on my face, and I was like, this right here in the middle of the suck, when it hurts, and you just keep going, when it's 9 o'clock at night and you're doing shit that nobody else will do, and you just push yourself. There is euphoria in that. There is something spiritual and enlightening in that moment that can only be discovered by pushing through the pain, through the things that are shit, and, finding something that is difficult and doing it. And I was like, this is the part of me that's been missing. And the other side of it was the competitive nature. Not that I was competing against anyone, but there was that, I'm competing against me, but I'm also competing against people I have no idea about. I'm like, there is nobody else out here right now doing what I am doing. And I was like, yeah. And I have this fierce competitive nature. And as I've gotten older, it's kind of dwindled a little bit, because like I've mellowed, like, I have kids, I have a job, I've found my peace and stuff. But at the same point, I need the darkness. I need that fight. I need to kill. I need to crush. I need to, that male urge, to fight things, to win, to dominate. That part of me had, been dormant, and I needed to find it again. And that's what allows me to kind of push forward with these things as I do them. And God, it was invigorating, And as I said, like, I used to be ridiculously competitive, especially like when I was growing up in high school and all that kind of stuff. I was known as the guy who was competitive as shit. If you beat me, we were playing again until I won. Like, there is zero chance I'm letting you win. And we would play again, and we would play again, and we would play again. And I would go away and I'd work on it, because there is no chance I was going to let that be that thing. And I was an arrogant kid because I was making up for, there was something missing. But now, as an adult, I've mellowed into that. The competitive drive is still there, but this zero choice mentality, this discipline and freedom from those things is now, it creates the confidence to do that shit, because I know I can do those things. So it's no longer arrogance, it becomes confidence when you start doing the work, when you back it up, when you grind, when you deliberately look difficult things in the face and go, fuck yeah, let's go. And it doesn't mean you enjoy it, but you just go, I know I'm going to crush this. I know I'm going to enjoy the other thing. And it was, as I said, with the sauna. And it's the same today. Like, once I'm done here, I'm going to go work out. I've been working out since I was 14 years old. I am currently, how old am I? I constantly think I'm 21. 32? Yeah, something like that. 32, 33, something like that. But I've been working out since then. I like bodybuilding. I like, that stereotypical hypertrophy style training. That's what I enjoy. It's what I'm really good at. I've got really strong. I've done the strength training. I've just like general, like pushing that muscle to failure in that hypertrophy stage. But that's comfortable. I'm good at that. I enjoy it. I look forward to those workouts, especially, like every man under the sun. I love shoulders. I love arms. I'm more of a back guy myself, but I love those kinds of things. I love doing those trainings. That's comfortable. That's easy. Even when I'm sore, I enjoy those styles of things. So what am I doing now? I need to challenge myself. One, I'm not happy with where I am conditioning wise. It's the whole point of where we ended up here. That's why I'm back on this program. So I'm doing that to, lose body fat. And those styles of training do work, but they're much slower. They're more designed around building muscle, which is why it's called hypertrophy training. So today, like I did yesterday, I'm going to do kettlebell complexes. I've just found this amazing guy, Keith Weber. He's got ridiculous things. Yesterday I did one of his free ones on YouTube. Loved it. I've now bought all his programs. I'm going to be doing those, incorporating that in with some of my own training and stuff. But my body is fucking wrecked today. Like, when I got out of bed this morning, I felt like I was 100 years old. Like, I was like, wow, okay. I have just been humbled by a 12-kilo kettlebell. Humbled by it. So I don't want to go train. Like, getting in and out of this chair fucking hurts. But that's what I'm going to go do. And I'm going to go do another complex because I'm bad at them. Like, that conditioning level kicked my fucking ass. So I'm going to go do that. Because that's what this is about. It's about building that disciplined muscle. And it's not just for the journey along the way and the passion and the pride and the satisfaction and all that kind of stuff, which of course is fucking amazing. Like, I don't understand the point of living a life that you don't feel proud of as you go through. But the other side of it is also, life is going to throw shit at you. And I'm already a reasonably unflappable guy. Like, I believe, and I firmly believe this, that when bad shit happens, it's just universe directing you into a higher timeline, a higher path, a higher calling, that kind of stuff. But it's about recognizing that. But bad things are going to happen. Life is going to throw curveballs at you. And if you, on the daily, get up and choose to do difficult things, when life throws those challenge days at you, those test days at you, you're going to be like, fucking whatever. Like, this is easy. And that makes for a happier and more satisfied life. I go through every day feeling happy and grateful and satisfied. You know, to quote Ed Milet, but with blissful dissatisfaction. You know, I love where I am, and I'm so much like where I'm at the moment is where I dreamed of when I was younger. But I've barely scratched the surface of what I want to achieve and where I want to end up. So I'm incredibly grateful and satisfied, but on the flip side, I know that I am meant for more. I am called to more. Whatever that might be, I am uncertain at this point. It's part of why I'm here, to talk through this, to kind of let it unfold and work it out and see where we end up with all that. But I think that's such a beautiful way to live. But it also means when shit comes up, I'm like, okay, we'll handle it. Like, I know we can handle it. Look at what I do. Look at what I've done in my life. I know I can fucking handle this. And very rarely do things actually stress me out anymore because of that reason. Because I've hardened my mind against those things. I choose to do difficult things. And I also know from experience, but also faith, that everything always works out for my highest good. Unquestionably so. Works out for my highest good. And that's, as I said, this is part of what I'm trying to teach, that life is not a destination. It is a journey. It is not an event. It is a process. And if you commit to loving the process, then the rest of it is fun and enjoyable and easy. And that's what this is all about, that choosing to sculpt yourself every single day and to improve yourself every single day, to chase greatness. And greatness isn't a destination. It is a forever pushing out thing, because as you get better, your level of greatness that you want to achieve and could achieve is further and further away. That's what this is about. And this is what I want to impart. And this is what I want to share. And I want to give to the world, because, as I said, it was an epiphany. And I went in, and when you can commit to that 100% perfect, zero choice mentality, realizing that discipline is freedom, how wonderful your life is on the other side of that, how unfuckable with you are, is just extraordinary. And I am perfect evidence as the creator of this concept and the process. Not that it is like this has been around for fucking millennia in different formats, but even after having that epiphany and realization, I still fell off. But it's about catching yourself and just recommitting and re-upping. And, you know, I call this the comeback story, because that's what we're doing here. It's about coming back to who I know I am and who I should be. So that's where we're at. And I'm just going to be on here every day, talking through the things that come up in the daily for me and sharing this journey. So this is technically day 2 of filming, but I'm technically on day 24 out of 126. But I'm going to be here every day because, one, it allows me to work through what I'm trying to impart. I can talk it all out, and when it's out there, it seems clearer than, bouncing off the craziness inside my head, because if it's all just locked up in there, it's hard to know what is actually there. But 2, I'm hoping I can inspire people. I'm hoping that through sharing this information, this journey, this process, that I can inspire you to do your own. All the tasks are on my Instagram, The Greatness Project. They're there. I'll do a video where I walk through all of them, but they're there and documented for you. So you can join me. You can join that zero choice mentality and see what happens. It's not easy. By no stretch of the imagination is it easy. And I'll do another video where we talk about the other side effects of it, like people not understanding you, people telling you that you shouldn't do it, people trying to bring you down from that, people judging you, all that kind of stuff. But to me, that actually usually indicates that I'm on the right path, that I am doing the right shit. Because when the normal population deem that this is crazy, it means in my head that that's a good thing, because I don't want to be average. I don't want to sink into this, comfortable minutia that people just live in, these boring, fucking, stagnant lives. I want to chase greatness. I want to push myself. I want to see what's possible. And even if that never amounts to anything, that I can know in my heart that I lived a good fucking life because I went after it. And then I can have left a good legacy and role model for my children and hopefully my children's children of what a life should look like, that you just go after this. That whether you reach it or not is not the point. The point is to go after it, to chase something great, to see where you will end up. So, yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. As I said, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back every day. I'm just going to keep being here, sharing this journey as we go through 126. And then when we progress into chasing greatness, I want to document it and, watch the transformation. I've been putting up those before, daily photos is part of it as well. I've been putting up daily photos on my Instagram. And when you're so close to it without a measure of that, it's hard to judge. I was like, fuck, I'm not really getting anywhere. And then I put the photos from day 1 to day 21 side by side. And I was like, no, I fucking am. I'm making progress, but because I'm too close to it. Same thing here. I want to share and document the journey. But even if nobody ever watches this bar me, I know that I can go back and be like, okay, that's where I started. That's where it was. Look at me now. And that in itself that's the win. That's the goal. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And I'll be back tomorrow with some more rambling thoughts to share with you on my journey. And I look forward to seeing you then.